tell you guys about the craziest synchronicity that's ever happened to me and why I believe that synchronicities are confirmations of your intuition. So, first, what are synchronicities? So, they're moments when your inner world syncs up with your outer world in a way that feels very significant. So, like your friend pops into your head, and in that moment, they text you, or you think about a blue feather and then you see a blue feather, right? So, these moments are a lot more than just like coincidences. They're the universe, spirit talking to you. And so, what I've noticed from my experience, tarot reader, astrologer, intuitive channel, working witch, is that these synchronicities often pop up after you've followed your intuition. They're like confirmation. So now here's the crazy example. So about 2 years ago, I got an intuitive hit to start a YouTube channel about my spirituality and also to publicly identify myself as a witch. So, right, this is like a big ask, right? So you can imagine, even though this was a big part of my personal life, like making it public was way out of my comfort zone. But I had, worked enough with my intuition to know that this was a message from spirit. It wasn't a message from fear or anxiety or ego. And it felt really significant and really resonant. And so I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do this. So I'm researching a script for my first video, which was going to be about synchronicities. So of course I come across famous psychiatrist Carl Jung's work on this. So Jung describes a moment when he's in his office, and I think it's like the 1930s or 40s, and he's with a client, and the client is talking about a dream she had the night before about receiving a necklace in the shape of a scarab beetle. And in that moment, Jung notices a scarab beetle tapping at the window. So he opens the window and he grabs the beetle and he hands it to her and he says, "Oh, here's your scarab." And now, so this moment was like an emotional breakthrough for the client, because prior to this, she had been extremely tethered to rationalism, so only trusting the things that she could sense with her five physical senses. But this moment opened her up to the possibility that our minds are connected to a much broader pool of collective wisdom, which is a key part of Jung's philosophy. So here I am, I'm sitting on my couch and I'm researching this, and there's something tapping at my window. And I look up and it's a huge beetle. It's wild. And of course, I take this as a synchronicity and a massive confirmation that I'm on the right path and following my intuition about starting a YouTube channel. So, we're 2 years later. Has my YouTube channel been successful? Like, no, not really. However, it has opened up a lot of doors for me, literally and figuratively, that have led me now to become a working witch. So I make now almost half my income monthly from my intuitive abilities. And that's all because I found that confidence to talk about my spirituality publicly. So even though it didn't work out exactly the way I thought, it did work out in a much better way. So staying open with your intuition is huge, because the path won't always look like what you planned it. And these synchronicities are like little, trail markers, like when you're hiking along the way, like you're on the right path.